2017 has proven to be a pretty big year for Sonic the Hedgehog so far. Among his accomplishments, he broke up with his comic publisher, smeared mud on his face again, something about rejuvenating his youth, I guess. And he even revived one of the oldest memes on YouTube.
Snooping as usual, I see.
Now, that's all fine and dandy, of course, but the big news everyone is talking about are the two games releasing this year, Sonic Mania and Sonic Forces. Now, while many people will be ecstatic to have not one, but two games come out this year for the Blue Blur, I, on the other hand, being the over-analytical, cynicism-filled asshat I am, can't help but feel there's something just a little bit off. Okay, two quick things to note here before I actually get started. First off, while some people may say it's silly to argue against a game or a movie before it's even out, I think it's important to start analyzing these things beforehand instead of blindly buying everything that remotely interests us. Lest we keep getting more of these. Second is that opinions are great. My opinions are great, your opinions are great, everyone has great opinions. So just remember that this is just that, an opinion. Okay. Now, I'm not trying to be all, Sonic Forces looks terrible, it's gonna be the next Sonic Boom, girl, don't even bother buying it. Trust me when I say I want Sonic to succeed as much as any other fan. But Sonic can't get any better unless we address the issues in his games. No matter how much of a diehard fan you are, it's impossible to say the games don't have any flaws. And from the trailers and the gameplay footage released so far, there's quite a few flaws with this one, some things that just really irk me. Let's start with the villain. I want to start here because this is something I was actually really excited about when the original launch trailer came out last year. The story we were told was Robotnik has taken over most of the world, and Sonic and his friends must form a resistance to fight back. Wait, you're telling me Robotnik actually won? You mean Robotnik's actually a threat again? Yes! I'm so pumped for this! I've been waiting eons to see Robotnik that's actually a proper menacing villain again, not just some morbidly obese man riding around on his egg scooter through Walmart's diabolical schemes aisle. Finally a simple Sonic versus Robotnik fight. Oh, and also there's Shadow, Metal, Sonic, Chaos, and that deadly sixth thing from Sonic Lost World. Okay, that's kind of weird, but... Oh, and also a new villain. Oh, come on! Can't we for once just have Robotnik fight Sonic without some stupid gimmick, alien, or mythical creature come into play? It's like Sega has no confidence in Robotnik as a character anymore. He's just the bumbling sidekick. He's basically, I'm the villain, I'm going to do my villain thing by releasing another villain to do my villain bidding. Oh no, that villain is more villain than me, and now I must not be the villain to help defeat the true villain. Whoa! So we've got all these other villains in the scene now. How did this come about anyways? Shadow's supposed to be somewhat good now, Chaos is supposed to be good and sealed away in another dimension or something. It all just seems like rehashed ideas thrown together. We've seen this trope done a million times, and there just doesn't seem to be any creativity around it. Heck, even Sonic Generations, one of the most recent Sonic games, already did it. How did the writers come up with this schlock? Hey, we've got a new Sonic game coming out. You know what? People really loved all these villains. Why don't we just throw them all together? But that doesn't make any sense in the universe. How will we get them all together? I got it! Time Eater! Well, we already did that. Oh, just no. Let me get this one. I need you to a little bit. Time Bat. Woo! Yeah, we did it. That's brilliant. We got it. So now we have Infinite the Time Bat, or whatever the balls he is. He just bores the crap out of me. Here we have another all-powerful villain. He's super fast, super strong, can fly, and apparently has some kind of dimensional or telekinetic powers. So what makes him different from half the dozen other previous monsters we've gone up against in Sonic games? Infinite is already being shown as able to dominate Sonic, and I'm sure that phrase has already spawned dozens of toasty fanfics online. And that actually makes him seem like even less of a threat. When you create a villain, giving him every power just makes them feel bloated and uninspired. There's nothing that sets them apart from every other major bad guy. Sonic Mania was able to make better villains out of Robotnik and the hard-boiled heavies, and they don't even have voices! The reason they're more interesting is because they're simple characters, but each have their own special abilities and weaknesses. Infinite, on the other hand, feels so padded down with abilities that I just can't take him seriously. A villain isn't much of a threat in a story if I know we'll only be able to really fight him when we unlock the ultimate power at the end. A villain on par with the hero is much more interesting because you can have more interactions between them throughout the story. Actually make you feel like this battle could go in either character's favor, not just be on par during only the final battle. I'm actually getting kind of sick of having to rely on Supersonic for the end game all the time. Hey Sega, can we change up the formula? That'd be great, thanks. Also, real quick, what's up with Infinite's logo, Sega? I saw in the trailer you did that fancy animation of it rotating in on itself, but once it starts moving you swap the camera angles and the image is the exact same as was before, it's just turned 90 degrees. So what happened to part in the middle that was rotating? If it kept rotating like that, shouldn't it have ended up colliding into itself? Are you trying to make this fancier than it is, like you're polishing up your dog's wet turd only to find that inside the turd are remnants of your underwear because your dog snuck into your hamper and ate it in the middle of the night, so now you have to try and hide the whole turd from public view lest the public realize how weird your dog is? Huh? I'm watching you, Sega. Speaking of rehashed ideas, Forces seems to be chock full of them. Even Sonic Mania can't escape from this one. Between them both, Green Hill Zone is back for the umpteenth time, Egg Dragoon is back, and even the Death Egg Robo is back? Now what could Robotnik possibly be thinking here?
Sonic easily destroyed this robot multiple times, but I'll get him this time now that I've added Giga Drill Breaker!
I can't roll my R's. I'm sorry. It's okay to reuse old ideas, but you need to be careful about it. Sonic Mania actually did a good job of it by using old levels, but creating new mechanics and combining enemies and aspects of other similar levels into them. I feel the old bosses, however, were the weakest part of the game, so I'm certainly not looking forward to fighting the Egg Dragoon again in Forces. Gameplay-wise, Sonic Forces seems to be the epitome of Sega's hold boost to win formula. Practically all of modern Sonic's footage has been boost through enemies down a narrow path while occasionally jumping over gaps. Even better is now we have the option to play a slower and clunkier version of these levels through the custom character. Because that's what I want from a Sonic game, an on-rails shooter. Nobody asked for Shadow the Hedgehog 2, Sega. Well, someone probably did, but they can go shove off back to the depths of DeviantArt from which they spawned. The custom character in Forces is this game's gimmick, and for some reason Sega believes Sonic can't live on his own without a gimmick in each game. Unleashed had the Werehog, Lost World had the Mario Galaxy-ish levels, and Sonic Boom had a budget. Sonic doesn't need a gimmick to make his gameplay fun. What he needs is an emphasis on what makes him fun in the first place. The speed is what makes these games unique, so just build on that, add more cinematic events and high-speed combat. Forces actually attempts to bring the speed back in that tag team footage. But let me tell you something, Sega. Bringing the gameplay to a screeching halt to mash a button for 5 seconds doesn't build your emotional momentum. It kills it. You can't derail a train and expect it to just hop back on the rails without a hitch. They try to supplement the excitement by adding the vocal track from the main theme, but it's such an awkward moment that the whole scenario just falls flat. We're gonna run through this real quick. What basically happens is you have the halt and momentum, which rockets into a speed section that's nothing more than blasting through a few bots going up a hill, and finally cuts off the music in the middle of the melody and calls it a day. None of this increases the excitement in the level. In fact, it seems like such a mundane task that forcing the theme song into it just feels like such a waste. Normally the theme song is reserved for the climactic final battle because it's something special, something cool to add to it. Not just normal gameplay I'm going to see in every level. If anything, it feels like they're just taunting us. It's as if giving a lollipop to a child, letting them have a few licks before taking it away and saying, "Alright Timmy, that's enough now. Back to the closet with you." There's a right and a wrong way to use a theme song to get someone pumped, and using it for such a short and common moment is not the way to go. Oh, by the way, that QuickTime button mash to get the tag team boost started? The boost happens even if you fail the prompt. The characters just stumble for a step at the beginning. It literally serves no purpose and only acts to hinder the momentum of the gameplay and disguise itself as being exciting. So I've got problems with the story, the gameplay, and the villains. But there is one more subject I wanted to touch on. And no, it's not the animation. But seriously, guys, like, could you at least try to pose them? Make it look a little bit exciting? Like, they're just standing there, staring. Maybe give them expressions? Like, no? No? Okay, whatever. It's your game. But no. The other subject I have a problem with is the music. Hey, hold up. Let me explain. Despite how bad some recent Sonic games are considered, the one thing they've managed to do right was have awesome soundtracks. And yet Sonic Boom even managed to screw that up. Sonic Forces so far has been no exception. The rock and techno vibe is still there, and the addition of having vocals in even some of the levels actually has me pretty excited. But the most important thing to remember about a soundtrack in games and movies is the background music actually plays a huge role in setting the mood and the scene. The reason I bring this up is because of the E3 2017 trailer. The music in that trailer is dark, foreboding, ominous. It gives you a sense of dread. All things that I really don't expect or want in a Sonic trailer. Sonic games are designed around Sonic's personality. Upbeat, cocky, fast, laughing in the face of danger. Not this.
Jesus Christ, we're all gonna die and there's nothing we can do about it. What are we going to do?
Now, I've had someone tell me they're just trying to make it a more serious mood because Sonic's friends are dying and everything's being destroyed around him. The problem with this is we've actually had this situation before in Sonic games. Sonic Unleashed broke the planet apart, and in Sonic Adventure Chaos drowns the entire city. There was a tsunami inside of skyscrapers, and you're telling me people didn't die in that? Sonic games have more civilian casualties than Grand Theft Auto. Yet despite all this death and destruction going on around him, we didn't have Sonic running to some dark and brooding soundtrack. Do you know what we got in our trailers? You know, this may seem like a trivial matter, but like I said, the music has always been a symbol of Sonic's personality. The main trait I always get from Sonic is how he's always overly confident and cocky in the face of danger, and the music has always portrayed that. Now granted, a lot of the other music that they've shown for Forces so far seems to be back to the pop rock style, so it's not the whole thing. But this is the first time I've heard something in a Sonic trailer stray so far away from that, and that's what worries me. Sonic isn't supposed to have a serious attitude. He's supposed to be fun and confident. You can have a serious story, but still have your character be fun and confident. This was the first trailer from the game, and I'm just not getting that feeling from this. That's not a good sign. There's one other thing about the music that I can't help but notice. The main theme of the game, Fist Bump. Yeah, they actually called it that. Sorry, is sung by Douglas Robb. Now, here's the thing. Douglas Robb is from the band Hoobastank, which is a rock band that was mostly relevant in the 90s and early 2000s. Now, what other band did I know of from that time? Zebrahead, which was another band not many younger people knew about when they worked on the theme song for another certain Sonic game. Foreshadow. Hey everyone, thanks for watching all the way to the end here. I wasn't joking when I said I like to overanalyze things, so I've always kind of wanted to make more of an in-depth discussion on things like this. Now, I may have a lot of negative criticism about Forces, but just because I don't like it doesn't mean you can't. So seriously, if you don't like the game, that's cool, but if you do like it, also cool. Again, I'm not necessarily saying Forces is going to be bad. I'm just saying it's good to be cautious and kind of pay attention to these things before you buy something. If you want to let me know what you think, then tell me your opinions in the comments. If you'd like to share this video with others, that would help me immensely. And if my art gave you a chuckle, then follow me here on YouTube or on Twitter at Sound Resonance for more. So thank you all, and ciao. Are you trying to make this fancier than it is, like you're polishing up your dog's wet turd only to find that inside the turd are remnants of your underwear because your dog snuck into the hamper and ate it in the middle of the night, so now you have to try and hide the whole turd from public— God damn it.